Welcome to the second episode of K Press Sports Game Week Pundits. I'm your host, Emmanuel Makome. Now, this week we'll be going through Game Week 16 previews. Now, we have key matchups coming into this weekend. We'll be having Arsenal versus Everton, Liverpool and Fulham, and the thing that most people have been waiting for, the derby, that's going to be played in Manchester. Now, joining us for this second episode, he is a returning guest, Daniel Kenner, K-Press Sports football contributor. Now, Daniel, would you have to tell us about this coming game week?
Yeah, so first of all, kudos to whoever makes the Premier League fixtures, because I remember, was it game week 14 when we talked about when we had the Arsenal, the United game, the City Nottingham game, and the Liverpool Newcastle. I had to watch all games on split screen because I didn't want to miss any action, any drama. So it was quite an interesting game week. So I'll just go straight into the Manchester derby. But first, yesterday United played Victoria Plaza in the Europa League. They won, of course. City, on the other hand, lost the game to Juventus.
Now, Kenner, what do you think Manchester United are feeling going into this game week now, seeing that they've won this UEFA Europa League matchup against Pleasant? Do you think this gives them confidence going into this game week?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, they'll be happy that they won their game. They'll be confident going to this game. They'll have at least a win in their bag as opposed to City losing their game. I think United did play a bit poorly yesterday. They needed 2 goals from Rasmus Højlund to get back after Pleasant scored first. Mistake from Onana once again. So United will be feeling confident going to this game.
Now, could you tell us more about the games that were played yesterday and the good form that Manchester had during this game? Do you think we'll see them apply some of the gameplays that we saw and some of the tactics that we saw coming into this Man City game as well? Because as we know, Man City also had a UEFA game. So can you tell us about it? Their Champions League game with Juventus.
Yeah, so I personally, as a City fan, did not expect us to win the game against Juventus because as soon as I saw the lineup, I saw Pep started Bernardo, Gundogan, and De Bruyne, no defensive midfielder. So you know that Juventus will obviously let us keep the ball and hit us on the counter-attacks, because this season we've been so prone to counter-attacks. We are a bit slow in the midfield. We don't have the legs anymore to catch up to players like Vlahovic, who's a very, very quick player. They had Kanché on the wing. So United, on the other hand, are known for playing counter-attacking football ever since Amorim came. They've just been utilizing the wings, using Ahmad, Rashford, Højlund, players who are so fast. And City, on the other hand, play a much more slower game. They like controlled possession. So if United get these things right, they'll have the upper hand against City.
Now, speaking of United, we remember that United made the transfer of Amorim, and this was, I think, was this his first game as coach?
No, it was not.
This was his what game as coach now?
His 5th game, his first game in Europe.
Now, yesterday he made certain comments. So apparently during his first day, he said that his ball gives away. Amorim said that his team gives the ball away too much, and he said that ever since the month that he's been into the game, he's really started fixing some of their defensive gaps. What do you think about him trying to work on defense now more?
I think since he came, I mean, United have a lot of players. Many players have quality, so he's still a new manager. He still needs time to find his best 11. I think he's made over 12 changes to a starting lineup. So he's still looking for his best team, the team that he can actually confidently say that this is my starting 11, because he's making too many changes. You can see the way his team is giving the ball away too many times. You know, Amorim wants a team that he wants his midfield to hold the ball as much as they can, so that they can actually spray long passes into the likes of Garnacho, Rashford. So I think he'll be looking to start a midfield of Bruno, Menu, players who are good on the ball, who do not lose the ball, because if you have players like Ugarte and Casemiro, players who aren't technically gifted as Menu and Bruno, so that's expected.
Now, Rashford yesterday was really struggling. He got a yellow card, dived into another player, but the coach had to sub him off before he got himself removed from the game. What do we think of Rashford's form going into this derby, and the and the and the way we saw him struggle during this game against such a small team? Do we expect him to see do do you think we expect him to play on his regular level, or do you think this form of play that he's been on over the last, let's say, 2 games will continue to this game week?
I actually think Rashford might turn up in this Manchester derby, as we've seen in the previous derbies. I mean, not that he actually turns up every derby, but we saw last season he scored the opening goal in the 3-1 defeat to City. He's a player who rises to occasions when it comes to games like this in Manchester derbies, in big games. We can actually see him turn up, but his form of late hasn't been the best. We've actually seen those reported news that he might be sold in the January transfer window or during the summer. So all that pressure, all that noise might actually dip his form coming to this game.
Oh, okay. So now I want us to turn us over a bit to the United defense. Now, what do you think of United's defense compared to like Man City's defense? Because I know you're our chief tactician when it comes to like usually analyzing most of like this team's tactics. What do you think that like most teams are going to check in terms of like really trying to contain the opposition?
Well, if you compare the two defenses, United play with a back three. They play with Lenny Euro, Lisandro Martinez, and Matheus De Ligt or Johnny Evans, depending on who will be available. So that's a pretty solid defense. That's a pretty solid back line. You can even see Matari, who is a natural fullback, playing in centre back because of injuries. So the defense is actually pretty solid. It's aggressive. They like to press high. They like to man mark, which is an approach that Man City, on the other hand, do not like, because if you man mark City players, they do not come out on top. And if you look at the City defense this season, they have a lot of injuries. We have Manuel Akanji, who is out injured, John Stones, Rico Lewis, who was suspended in the Palace game. I felt as though that was unfair, but it is what it is. Ruben Dias came back, and as in the only available defenders for City are Ruben Dias, Josko Gvardiol. Maybe we'll see Hamson Pussy starting, the 17-year-old defender from the academy. So City have been shaky this season in defense because they have so many players injured. So that has been their weakness this season. The defense can actually cost them this game. Kyle Walker, who is aging, a player who is known for his pace, gets
Now
caught.
it seems that Man City have played 10 straight games, losing 7 of those. What do you think about this 10-game streak that they've been having and losing 7 out of those 10-game streaks? What do you think's happening with Pep?
I think it was expected. I mean, you can't expect a team to be on top for like season after season after season. It was expected. As a City fan, thought it was going to happen last season, but we were still good. Somehow we made it and won 4 Premier Leagues in a row. But this season, with the likes of Rodri injured, there's no one who is there to like secure our defense. So our defense has been exposed, leading to all those losses this season.
Yeah, that's really nice. So, Fiona, do you want to still talk more about like this derby and like the significance of the derby and like which team has won more in terms of these derbies?
Yeah, I think it's a game that has a lot of narratives coming into this season because both teams this season haven't been the best. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson was once asked in an interview in his lifetime if he'll ever see City come out as favourites. He said not in his lifetime, but now it's every time. So coming to this game, we might actually see a very entertaining game. So I have no favourites for this game. I'll obviously back my team, but I personally do not see us winning this game.
So, if we look at which team has won more derbies, it turns out that United have won 79 and City have won 61 out of those. And the remaining 54 games all finished as a draw. Do you think coming this game we'll see or let me just put it like this, who do you feel will come out on top of this coming game?
I'd say City, because we're at home, we're playing at the Etihad, we might have the home advantage. And I don't think Pep will will be happy if we lose another game at home.
At home,
Especially
exactly.
if we beat a rival, which will actually be embarrassing. But honestly, I'm saying like either the game goes to a draw or City win narrowly.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
So I think should shift our attention more to. Do you think we should go to Liverpool or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah. Let's go Liverpool. So Liverpool will be playing against Fulham. What do we think about Liverpool and their form?
Liverpool this season have been good. They've been the best team. I'll say the best team in the world this season. The only team that has been consistent. We saw on Tuesday when they played Girona, they didn't play well in my opinion. I mean, they relied on Mo Salah's penalty in that game, but it was a game for them to rest their players coming into a game like Fulham. So Liverpool have won. They're still unbeaten. They extended their unbeaten streak in the Champions League. So they're a pretty strong side. They'll be confident going to this game against Fulham. Fulham, on the other hand, are also in good form. I mean, they've won 4 of the last 3 games. Marco Silva has actually done well this season. The way he deployed his team against Arsenal, holding them to a 1-1 draw, only limiting Arsenal to set pieces. And yeah, I feel as though Liverpool will come out on top in this game.
So can you talk about like management from Liverpool?
So we're talking about in-game management or just Arne Slot in general?
Arne Slot and how he's been able to like manage the team.
I think Arne Slot has been one of those managers who doesn't change his style of play when he's coming into a new team. We saw it when he was in Feyenoord, and as opposed to Liverpool, he's still playing the same way. He's getting the best out of his players. We've seen Mo Salah this season, the top scorer in the league, alongside Haaland. So the team has been feeding balls to Salah. Like they're just looking for Salah, who's their main talisman. So Salah will be the talisman into this game. He's a player who's fast, who likes to catch teams on the break, a player who likes to cut in, has a good shot on him. So I think Arne Slot has managed that team well this season. They've looked solid defensively, solid in the midfield. Attacking wise, they're good. They're scoring goals. So kudos to Arne Slot this season.
Now, the last time we played with, I think no. Okay, so looking at how Fulham have played this season, it doesn't really look bad. If you look at the last 5 games, they drew with Arsenal. They won against
Brighton.
Yeah, won against Brighton. They drew against Tottenham, but they lost against Wolves. But they also won against Crystal. So, like, do you think these games are like a kind of a show of like a testament to like how good they've been playing like of late?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you once said that Liverpool tend to struggle against teams of this caliber.
Yeah,
Teams
quite
who
small.
not really small teams, but teams who sit low in the
Underrated, let me put it like
underrated
that.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and their coach as well, Marco Silva, deserves his flowers. I mean, the way he's set up his team this season with the likes of his defense, like we saw in the Arsenal game, he played with 5 defenders, like 4 in the box, and 1 was on to Saka. Saka is like the main threat of Arsenal. So we'll see Anthony Robinson, their captain, who will be on Sal, and people are saying that Robinson has the form this season to mute Salah. I mean, he's fast, he's aggressive, so it will be a very interesting battle to see who will come out on top. I think if Salah wins that battle, we'll see Liverpool win that game because Fulham defensively have been solid, and on the counter, they play similar to Liverpool, by the way, using Amad Traore, the buff winger. He'll be on the counter-attacks, and he'll be playing on the wing of Trent, someone who isn't that good defensively, I'd say, and someone like Traore who's fast, who's strong, will be looking just to run on the flanks and feed balls into Raul.
Now, could we talk more about the form that Fulham has had in terms of like their offense, people like Raul and so on?
Yeah, so players like Raul, Traore have been good this season. We cannot forget Iwobi, Smith Rowe, players who have turned up this season. I think that's where they've chipped in with goals. I mean, Fulham they score, but not every game they score, but they always find goals. They always find the back of the net, and players like Raul, who hasn't really gotten his feet well this season, but he's looked a threat. I mean, he's a big striker. He's 6 foot. He's fast. He's aggressive. He'll pose a challenge to Van Dijk and their entire rest defense. Traore, who's fast and strong, will be looking to capitalize on Trent Alexander-Arnold, someone who isn't that good defensively. They have Smith Rowe, a player who's very creative, who's very tricky, will be looking to spray some passes into Iwobi, to Raul, to Traore. So I think the offense has been very crucial this season.
Now, there happens to be a report that's been just released by The Goal. They talk about Ruben Amorim, as I was just talking about. So they're talking about so this article, basically the headline reads this: Ruben Amorim tearing his hair out over indisciplined Bruno Fernandes as Man United are urged to consider selling Portuguese star and will never win the league with Marcus Rashford. What do you think about that statement?
I mean, if we talk about Bruno Fernandes, this is not the first time that he's had these cases with managers, and he is the club captain. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's not really good to hear a club captain giving the coach problems, and Amorim is a new coach as well. So Bruno has had these indiscipline cases a lot, and him being the captain isn't really, it's not a good image for him. If you even see the news, the narratives of him being sold, we see the news of Rashford as well. You know, Rashford his lifestyle choices of late have not been the best. He's been, the club have been giving him penalties because of coming late to training, not reporting to team meetings on time. So
it's becoming indisciplined.
Yeah, just becoming indisciplined. Discipline cases, not adhering to the club rules. So all of that has to do a lot with discipline cases.
Now, looking at match week 16, we have quite a lot of good headline games coming up. We also have Arsenal Everton. Now, let's talk a little bit about Arsenal and Everton.
Yeah, so I call this game the battle of set pieces, the battle of corners, because both teams are really good at corners. I mean, you've seen Arsenal this season. You watched the United game, right?
Yes.
All goals came from corners. We saw Timber and Saliba score. I mean, Arsenal this season have been too reliant on set pieces. I mean, they have this record this season where since last season to now, they've scored the most goals on set pieces. So, and another interesting fact is, Arsenal v Everton last season, Arsenal won at Goodison for the first time in their whole rivalry. I mean, Everton have always come on top whenever Arsenal go away. So I think that's another major point coming into this game. And we have players on form like Bukayo Saka, who has 15 goals and assists. I mean, 15 GA this season, as he's been the man in form. But Salah and Haaland, he has 5 goals this season and 10 assists. He's looked good this season. He's been creative on the wing. He sprays crosses into the box. He's good on 1v1s. He has a good shot on him. So, yeah, players like Saka will be the main men coming to this game.
Now, can we talk more about the team that Arsenal is playing against, Everton?
Mm-hmm.
What's the significance of Everton playing against Arsenal and their rival?
I think Everton have been not that good this season. I mean, Everton also rely on set pieces. I mean, they're good on dead ball situations when it comes to corners, when it comes to the long free kicks, when it comes to throwings. I mean, we saw the past game, the only one on set pieces. So this will be a game where, you know, Everton are known for sitting back in defense. They have the rest defense. They like to sit in a low block and wait for that chance to catch teams on the break. So they'll be looking to do the same against Arsenal, because Arsenal will have majority of the possession in this game, because Everton aren't a team suited for possession. So they'll most likely sit back, defend hard, and look to play long or rely on set pieces.
Now, can you tell us more about the management at Everton and how they're preparing for this game? Seeing that how Arsenal has been playing of late doesn't seem quite bad.
Yeah, so Everton obviously will be looking forward to, I think, they'll be looking for 3 points. They'll just be looking to hold on to a draw. Maybe they can come away with a draw since Arsenal will be at home. So, because Arsenal obviously are coming into this game as favorites, and with the way Arsenal this season have been limited to only set pieces, so Everton will be looking to counter on that chance. They'll be looking to capitalize on that chance, because Arsenal haven't been that creative. Even since Martin Odegaard came back, people were saying that without Odegaard, they aren't as creative enough. But we've seen Odegaard come back, and teams this season have like somehow found him out. They like man mark him, and as soon as you man mark a player like that, he doesn't get the best out of him. So Arsenal obviously will be relying on set pieces. We know we have Gabriel injured. They have a few players injured, so Everton will be looking forward to capitalize on those moments.
Now, I'd also like us to shift gears a bit and move over to the other games that will be played. Now, another significant game will be Newcastle versus Leicester. Can you tell us more a little bit about that?
Yes, this is another big game. I mean, Newcastle this season haven't had the best season. I mean, they've struggled for form. They have 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. Leicester, on the other hand, just came back from League One and are looking... They aren't that bad. I mean, they're trying to put their foot onto the Premier League this season. We know how good they are with players like Jamie Vardy, the icon himself. And this season, he's actually been good. He has 5 goals this season. He'll be looking forward to add on to his goals. The way we've seen Newcastle this season, their defense hasn't been the best. They've been leaking goals. They've conceded 7 in the last 2 games. So their defense isn't that good. So I think Leicester will be looking forward to that. And their team form, like if you look at Newcastle this season, they always struggle against teams like Leicester, teams who are actually low in the league, teams of that caliber, teams that play low block, they defend deep, they defend hard and look to counter them on the break. So Newcastle will actually be struggling when it comes to games like this.
Now, it seems that a certain report has just been released right now as well, talking about how Newcastle could suffer another major blow ahead of this Leicester clash, a journalist reports. Now, Newcastle forced Premier League leaders Liverpool to drop points, but followed it up with a 4-2 defeat against Brentford last weekend. Now, Eddie Howe's side will be looking to bounce back when they host Leicester City on Saturday. Now, however, they have been handed a significant injury scare as Nick Pope's availability is doubtful for the home clash. What do you think about Nick Pope and his contribution to the team and how this injury could affect the overall gameplay going forward?
I think Nick Pope will be a huge miss if this report is actually valid, if he actually won't be available for the Leicester game, because he's their main keeper, he's their number 1 keeper. I think we'll see Newcastle, if he won't be available, they'll have Dubravka, they'll have Karius. So I think the fitness issue comes when the team's already reeling from him. So Leicester, if this is actually great news for Leicester, because Nick Pope is someone who commands their defense, and as well, Newcastle also have injuries this season in their back line. We have Botman, who's injured for the season. They've been using Dan Burn, a left back playing centre back. They have Kian Trippier, who's out as well. They'll be using Tony Livramento and Luis Sol as their fullback. So it's still a good side, but we saw in the Brentford game that they were easily penetrated. I mean, this game is much more similar to the Leicester game, because Newcastle struggle against this kind of teams. These teams play. When you play fast, when you play long, when you play direct, Newcastle always struggles.
Now, it appears that Pope has been the number 1 goalkeeper at St. James Park this season, starting at 15 top-flight matches, securing 3 clean sheets. What does it say about, like, just as you state, about his defensive capabilities and his leadership skills when it comes to defense? Now, can you tell us more about Martin Dubravka and and let's say like his record and like how good Vardy has been as well, and how Vardy is going to be like a real menace coming into this game?
Yeah, so I think without Nick Pope, if they go to the number 2 keeper, I think they lose a lot of leadership qualities, because you want a keeper who like commands their defense, you want a keeper who commands their box, you want them to make instructions, you want them to like yell at the defense for making mistakes, because if you don't keep your defense in check, you could all crumble and it's all down to you because you didn't communicate to your defense early. So having Nick Pope he'll be missed a lot coming to this game. And a player like Jamie Vardy, a player who's ruthless, a player who's a menace in the Premier League. He's 37, but he's still putting up numbers for a player who's like 25.
Yeah, for a player his age and still seeing his like resilience,
Yeah.
so it's quite good.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that he'll actually retire when he went back into the Championship, but he's come back the same player who takes banter, who throws away banter. So he's a player I'll be looking forward to seeing, Jamie Vardy. I mean, he won the Golden Boot in the 2021 season as well.
No, 2021.
Yeah, with the likes of Salah, Mane all being there. It just talks about the quality of player that he is.
Now, it appears that Alexander Isak dominoes effect deal would apparently bring a blow to Newcastle's United update. Now, there's been a report just released by Football London. Now, Football London's report talks about Alexander Isak's domino effect and how that will deal a transfer blow to Arsenal after this update. Now, it seems that Arsenal have a new roadblock in their way in a potential pursuit of Alexander Isak during the January transfer window. Now, what do we think about Arsenal wanting to take Isak for themselves?
I think Arsenal have been looking for a striker for the longest period of time. I mean, they got Kai Havertz, but I mean, if you look at Alexander Isak, he's a player who is, what can I say? Can I say like he's too good to play for Newcastle? We saw in the Liverpool game how he was turning that Liverpool defense. I mean, he scored and assisted. I mean, he's a player who should be playing for a top 6 club or a big club in general. So if you see teams like Arsenal on the eye for him, even wanting to make a move for him in the January transfer window, so it's actually big news, because if a team like Arsenal gets a player like Isak, could that like make them shift to a new gear? They'll be a better team. They'll take their chances more. I mean, they'll be a much better team, and I think I could see them as major title contenders.
Yeah, for sure. Because right now, it appears that they are just only 6 points behind us now. 6 points behind Premier League leaders Liverpool. The Gunners find themselves locked in a developing title battle. They also possess no true striker within their ranks, as natural attacking midfielder Kai Havertz continues to lead the line for Mikel Arteta's side. What do you think about this article and how they highlight that in terms of like their offense? They don't really have anything going on for them.
Yeah, I mean, Kai Havertz has done a good job. He's been a good servant since his move from Chelsea to Arsenal. I mean, last season he had 12 goals. This season he has 5 goals. I mean, he's doing a good job. But Arsenal need that next step of a striker. They need Kai Havertz isn't a natural striker. He's more of like a shadow striker, player who plays behind the striker, who will look to link up play with him, and someone who's big. I mean, Havertz has all those qualities to be a striker, but there's just that X factor missing in him to be a complete striker. So I can see the urgency of needing a striker like Alexander Isak.
Now, I think it's time for us to make our predictions for most of these games that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Now,
Sure.
I'd like to start off with the derby. Where do you think this is going? I'm going for a draw. Because here's my reasoning behind it. Yeah, Man City haven't been playing too well. Man U also haven't been playing as well. You can see their position in the overall league right now. It's not too good. It's not looking good right now. Because if we look at their position right now, I think they are. Let us just look at the table real quick. Right now, they're in 13. They're 13th right now in the league. And I feel that these past 2 games that they played have given a little bit of morale coming into this fixture. But let's not forget, this is still Pep's City.
Yeah, Pep City.
Yeah,
they'll be at home as well.
Yeah, and they'll be at home. So I really think this is a tough one. So it's either I'm going draw or just a slightly close one by 1 goal for City. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really close. So it's either a 1 goal difference or a draw. What about you? Or you think it's gonna be blown out the park? You think
I don't think
because
so.
you're biased.
With the way both teams are playing, you know, United broke the record of like the least points accumulated for the first 16 games. I mean, they've never been as low as they are currently. So I'd also go with a 1-1 draw or a slight edge win for Man City.
A slight edge for Man City, yeah.
Home advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And then we also have other games as well. We have Arsenal Everton. What are you going with Arsenal Everton?
I'd say a comfortable Arsenal win, 2-0.
2-0 Arsenal. Okay, I'd go 2-0 Arsenal as well. Liverpool Fulham. What are we saying? Me, I'm thinking Liverpool 2-0.
I'd say this will be a very, very entertaining
Liverpool 2-0.
Yeah, I still have Liverpool as the favorite. So I'll say a 2-1. I feel as though Liverpool will concede at least 1 goal.
Now, how about Newcastle Leicester?
Leicester. I think Leicester will actually come up in this game. I think a 2-2 draw.
Okay, so those have been it for today, people. Thank you for joining K Press Sports Game Week Pundits, Game Week 16. That will be all. Thank you.